God's got an army, not afraid to fight. Soldiers of cross and children of the light. Warriors of righteousness with healing in their hands. God's got an army marching through the land. Let me hear a war cry. Let me hear a war cry. We're a people with ears to hear and the hearts to respond to spiritual needs of the nation. We're a showcase of what He'll do when we are strong in Jesus to a whole generation. The world won't be the same tomorrow because we are here today. The kingdom of hell is gonna feel sorrow because our war cry is worship and praise. God's got an army, not afraid to fight. Soldiers of the cross, children of the light. Warriors of righteousness, healing in their hand. God's got an army, marching through the land. Let me hear a war cry. Let me hear a war cry. The apostles and prophets are speaking forth. The flames of revival, they are burning. Like old Joshua, we're marching out to possess. And there's no way our minds will be turning. There's joy in the battle, so we commence to change this nation's course. The kingdom of God suffering violence, and the violent take it by force. God's got an army, not afraid to fight. Soldiers of the cross, children of the light. Warriors of righteousness with healing in their hand. God's got an army marching through the land. Let me hear. Let me hear. Let me hear. Hey. Hey. This means war now. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. We're not afraid to stand and fight. We're not afraid to stand and fight. We cast out demons left and right. We cast out demons left and right. We're strong in battle, strong in prayer. We're strong in battle, strong in prayer. We tell Satan, get out of here. We tell Satan, get out of here. Sound of Jesus. Sound of Jesus. Sound of Jesus.
As we had covered in our last section of our last presentation, this would be the SDG, Seventh Day of God and Temple of Jesus Christ, private school superintendent, known as the district superintendent for the private schools. They, in turn, report to the main superintendent, which we covered in our last program section. They are basically in charge of all directors and principals, as well as sub-principals of the private schools. Principals. The principal is assigned to one of 4 educational departments of children to adolescent teens. They are in charge of the teachers and or staff to ensure proper conduct is maintained, both professionally, morally, legally, and spiritually as a Christian. those who earn their teaching degree may apply for the teacher position with the principal and take a drug test as well as submit to a background check prior to being hired on with the rest of the teacher staff members. All applications that are approved will be confirmed for hire by the principal supervisor, the superintendent. Also, the principal is given authority to monitor the halls for those who are either in elementary school, junior high, or the high school academy to ensure all students are not loitering in the halls and are going to class on time. Such disciplinary actions of students resides with the principal. However, that authority has its limits as set by the parents and the school board, so to ensure that there is no hostility between the parents and the school board for inappropriate disciplinary actions taken by the principal. The principal's term of discipline for students based on age and grade level can include the following: warning and restriction of activities of the student based on the grievance of offense reported by another student or teacher, detention 1 hour after class with notice to the parents, daily suspension with notice to parents based on grievance or offense, weekly suspension with notice to parents and with teacher and or individual who has filed the grievance, expulsion from school, which is the worst case scenario, since any time suspended up to 30 days would make it too hard for that student to catch up on their return, and it wouldn't be fair to the other behaved students to be held back as a result. The principal may also conduct investigations of any said report regarding misconduct by either a male or female teacher with students. Upon completion of the investigation, the teacher can be disciplined as follows: reprimand warning, write-up warning requiring teacher's signature, school board hearing pending suspension from teaching in class, school board hearing with termination notice of their teacher class for the rest of the year and the school department they were assigned or applied to as a teacher. Other such activities that a principal may conduct is the PTA, Parent-Teacher Association, a meeting that is held quarterly with both the teachers and the parents to review the child's progress in school and that child's achievements or recommendations for improvement. It also gives the parent a chance to give their opinion or make suggestions, bring up any comments or questions, including any concerns they have. Actions not tolerated by teachers are as follows: 1. No physical grabbing, wrenching, twisting, pinching, pointing, or shoving on a student, as that is considered a form of assault and will be dealt with swiftly and with serious consequences. 2. No hitting, slapping, or punching students. This is assault to a minor and is grounds for immediate termination and warrant for arrest depending on the damages and or injuries suffered by the student. 3. No verbal cussing, sexual suggestions, jokes, or any other inappropriate behavior by the teacher. Based on the offense, a teacher could find themselves reprimanded or suspended. 4. No flirting, kissing, hugging, or holding hands with the student. This could be considered immoral and not professional, as a student is still growing in their physical and sexual development and could cause a student to start having false feelings towards a teacher. Or it could have worse reverse effects, where a student no longer wants to attend school based on the teacher or staff that initiated such actions. Violations of that is grounds for suspension. No sexual relations with the opposite sex or students who are underage. Any female teacher who arbitrarily and willfully engages in sexual relations with a male student in order to be pregnant or marry that student shall be terminated and arrested as a pedophile sex offender. Any male who engages in sex with a female minor and gets her pregnant shall be terminated and arrested as a pedophile sex offender. 6. This is also including a teacher's home as well as on school grounds. No exceptions. 7. No teaching about non-Christian subjects of creation or evolution. Since nothing can prove the Big Bang Theory or that men were from monkeys, then to teach such subjects is considered inappropriate and against the Word of God. This is grounds for suspension for the first offense and termination on the second offense. Private School Teachers Development School. Daycare Nannies and Coordinator. This is the coordinator in charge of daycare staff who babysits while others are working for the United Federation of Planets Citizen Career Occupational Job Placement Program. Preschool Teachers Coordinator is the coordinator in charge of preschool development staff that prepares the young child for learning the basics of their childhood development, both mentally and physically. Head Start Teachers Coordinator is the coordinator in charge of Head Start staff in preparing the child with a head start of mental development and basic principles of life and education. Kindergarten Teachers Coordinator is the coordinator in charge of kindergarten staff in preparation of the young child for entering the first grade by learning basic letters and numbers systems. Christian Child Development Director. 2 directors are in charge of the coordinators specified above and file all received reports from the coordinators on a quarterly report to be submitted to the Department 1 principal. Private School Teachers, Elementary School. First grade and second grade teachers is either a single teacher handling 2 grades at once or a teacher for each grade level. Their job is to teach children at the grade level and age they are suited for. This includes continued learning of the alphabet, numbers, adding and subtracting, beginners and advanced beginners, reading, and spelling of words. Third grade, fourth grade teachers is either a single teacher handling 2 grades at once or a teacher for each grade level. Their job is to teach children at the A grade level and age they are suited for. This includes learning to write, introduction to handwriting, that is cursive writing, multiplication and division, intermediate reading, and spelling memorization, otherwise known as spelling bees. 5th grade, 6th grade teachers is either a single teacher handling 2 grades at once or a teacher for each grade level. Their job is to teach children at the grade level and age they are suited for. This includes introduction to decimal mathematics and introduction to fractions, writing book reports, and introduction to social studies with advanced beginners spelling bees. Christian Child Elementary School Director. 3 directors are in charge of 2 elementary grade levels each, and thus file quarterly reports to the Department 2 principal. They are also in charge of hosting a 6th grade graduation with recommendation from the principal that the child is ready for entering the junior high 7th and 8th grade levels, sometimes referred to as middle school. Private School Teachers Junior Academy. Please note that although most teaching or educational institutions have a separate building for the 7th and 8th grades and referred to as junior high, private schools have the junior high grade levels in the same building. So therefore, there is no separate building for the 7th and 8th grade. They are in the same building, but are in classes of their own right. 7th grade teachers. These teachers are in charge of teaching 2 courses for each classroom, and the 7th period is for a PE instructor who starts developing exercise programs for the tween, which is usually age 12 and 13. During the 7th grade year, a limited amount of electives are available to the 7th grader. The required class courses are as follows: Bible lessons for preteens 1, consumer economics, mathematics, vocab spelling bee intermediate period, social studies 1, lunch period, science and nature, and then a student's choice of elective 1 and elective 2. 8th grade teachers is either a single teacher handling 2 grades at once or a teacher for each grade level. Their job is to teach children at the grade level and age they are suited for. Early teen development during the 8th grade year includes a limited amount of electives available to the 8th grader. The required class courses are as follows: Bible lessons for preteens 2, pre-algebra, vocab spelling bee advanced finals, social studies 2, lunch period, astronomy, and then the student's choice of elective 1 and elective 2. Christian Junior Academy Counselor Director. One counselor is placed in charge of the preteen development and carries the additional duties as a director. As a counselor, their job is to be available when counseling with either students, student teacher, or both student and parents, as well as teachers, as is deemed necessary. As director, they file quarterly reports that are submitted to the Department 3 principal. Private school teachers, SDG Christian Academy. 9th grade teachers. 1 for each class of requirements and electives. Teachers may be required to teach various grade levels when not teaching the main grade levels they were assigned to upon employment. Courses are divided from requirements to electives. Required courses for the 9th grade, also known as freshmen, along with electives, are as follows: Morning Teens Bible Lesson, English Literature 1, Health Class, PE Class, Lunch Period, Student's Choice of Elective 1 and 2, Algebra 1, and White House History 1. 10th grade teachers. 1 for each class of requirements and electives. Teachers may be required to teach various grade levels when not teaching the main grade levels they were assigned to upon employment. Courses are divided from requirements to electives. Required courses for the 10th grade, known as sophomores, are as follows: Morning Teens Bible Lessons 2, English Literature 2, Earth Science, PE Class 2, Student's Choice of Electives 1, 2, and 3, Geometry, White House History 2. 11th grade teachers. 1 for each class of requirements and electives. Teachers may be required to teach various grade levels when not teaching the main grade level they were assigned to upon employment. Courses are divided from requirements to electives. Required courses and electives for the 11th grade, known as juniors, are as follows: Morning Teen Bible Lessons 3, Global Studies, Communications 1, PE Class 3, Speech 11 for the first semester and Personal Finance for the second semester. Students' choice of electives 1 and 2. White House History 3 and Federation History. 12th grade teachers. 1 for each class of requirement and electives. Teachers may be required to teach various grade levels when not teaching the main grade levels they were assigned to upon employment. Courses are divided from requirements to electives. Required courses as well as electives are as follows for the 12th grade, known as seniors. Morning Teen Bible Lesson 4, U.S. History, Communications 2, PE Class 4, Word Keyboarding and or 10 key. Students' choice of elective 1 and 2, White House History 3, and Intro to Computer Skills. Next comes the electives courses that are available. While the teens are in the Christian Academy High School, these are their electives, as you can see in the listed picture that shows all the elective courses available. Please note that on number 38, though it be a typo error, it says Carpentry Advanced Manufactured Homes. Homes is not a separate title or category. It is actually part of number 38 in the elective section. So please disregard the fact that you see homes sitting by itself. Again, this was an editorial error based on spacing, and it's all part of number 38. Also take note on line number 61, which is the intermediate swimming, 104. Again, 104 is not a category of its own due to editorial error of proper spacing. 104 is part of line 61, which is intermediate swimming. So those are the elective courses that are available. Dorm Room Deans Christian Youth Leaders. The dorm room deans serve 2 shifts. Day shift deans serve this time to ensure that there is no loitering or skipping classes during the academy weekdays, and Sabbath school worship service on Saturdays. Then for the remainder of the weekend, they ensure that no outbreaks of hostilities or campus violations within the dorms are being committed. Night shift deans serve this time to ensure that all students meet curfew at a certain time during a school week and that prayer meetings are being attended on a certain specified week as scheduled. Otherwise, they ensure the security of the students at the late hours till the morning shift arrives. There is 2 male deans for the men's dorm and 2 female deans for the women's dorm. The Christian youth leaders are the assistants to the deans to do room checks that ensure no students are missing or hostilities are taking place, etc. Security of the dormitories are provided by the U.F. Army's SP, otherwise known as Security Patrol, as part of their training for the U.F. Army's law enforcement branch of service. Excuse me. Christian Senior Academy Counselor. A counselor who not only serves the needs of seniors pending graduation from the SDG Academy, but also for all students while enrolled in the SDG Academy. Their job is to be a guide in the maturing of Christian students who will lead each generation for a better world that doesn't include an evil or an evil plot, that is, or an evil plan for New World Order. Christian Senior Academy Director. The CSA Director is in charge of 3 to 5 teachers and thus receives reports filed by each teacher on a quarterly basis, which is then forwarded to the Academy Principal in Department 4 of the education system. Christian Senior Academy Principal. This is the main principal who has had experience in the position either at Department 1, 2, or 3 of the other SDG schools with principal positions. Their job is to receive quarterly reports and forward them to the SDG superintendent. That's the main superintendent. Or they can even submit it to the district superintendent, who then also submits that with their report of confirmation to the main SDG superintendent. Their other duties are much similar to that of the other principals of the other 3 departments. Trailblazers Club Director and Chairman. This is a chairman of the SDG Board of Directors who represents the Christian Club Trailblazers. For the most part, this is for those students who have a knack of being scouts, either for the United Federation of Planets Citizenship Program or for the service of enlisting with the UF Army. They mainly are responsible to ensure good, wholesome scouting lessons are being taught, with rewards and earned patches of attained skills by those who join at the elementary grade level up to the SDG Academy level. Christian Senior Academy Cafeteria Staff and Director. This director is in charge of supplies and equipment needed for the cafeteria to be fully stocked and operational during school season. They are in charge of all staff, not limited to prep cooks, head cooks, kitchen chef, dishwashers, senior dishwasher, host and hostesses. This also includes planning and preparing menus with properly balanced diets of healthy food for the students' physical and mental development during breakfast, lunch, and dinner periods. Christian Junior Academy Cafeteria Staff and Director. This is a subdirector who is the assistant to the director of the Senior Academy. When not having to fill in or called upon for assistance, they are in charge of a similar setup for those students who enter middle school, otherwise known as Junior High Academy, and for catering meal deliveries for those in grade school and below. Christian Education School Maintenance Director and Staff. This is a director who is in charge of the maintenance team. The maintenance team is in charge of maintaining the campus grounds, cleanliness of all school buildings and facilities, as well as working in receiving of supplies that have been ordered and or made for distribution or use by the academy. Notice, for more information on the future UFP, UF Army SDG Christian Academy, contact a member of the UF Army or a UFP Worldwide Star Trek Fan Club International Incorporated UF Army recruiter. Currently, that position also is open, as there is no current office open with that position, but in Humanity's Future would be a position available so that you can contact them. Now, as we get to the conclusion of this section's presentation, the SDG's Future Christian Academy and Educational System presentation, just want to point out that this next emblem here is that of the North Star Academy, kind of similar like West Point, but of futuristic purposes. For those who do graduate and unfortunately are not able to get scholarships or attend a community college, trade school, four-year college, or university, the first thing they do is attend a mutually agreed upon shared postgraduate skills testing center, otherwise known as PGST. This center will be mutually shared by the UF Army and Starfleet. And it is a center to test where the postgraduates' strongest skills are at. Once they pass those skills, they have the option of applying those skills they passed either in the Starfleet Academy to take additional courses so that they can fit any job occupational position that Starfleet has, or to the UF Army for the same reasons. Once that decision is made, and let's just say, for example, they choose the UF Army, then on this other emblem that you do see, it is the superintendent for North Star Academy. It is an ROTC Academy program, as well as, and it's for those who are either in college or are, like I said, was not able to be fortunate enough to get a scholarship or have the funding to attend college. This here will have a presentation on its own, based more or less on the UF Army side of presentation. So not to get things confused with this Christian presentation. In short, though, for those who don't feel they they're too old to go to college or what have you, there is also called the OTC, Officer Training Corps, which comes to this college as well, but it's considered for the adult, mature class levels of the North Star Academy. Okay, so once again, real briefly, with different emblems to represent each grade or educational systems level, we're going to cover quickly as to what the Future of Humanities Youth Service Organization and SDG private school educational system will offer, which is a lot better option than what is currently being taught regarding the brainwashing of Big Bang Theory and that you were born from a monkey. Obviously, in the Bible, we know differently. So, the first one we have is the daycare center, and the daycare center makes their reports to both the United Federation of Planets YSO Youth Service Organization, as well as to the SDG main superintendent. The next one, which is rather new, is the preparation center for those who seem to have an extra, I guess you'd call it signs of picking things up quickly and learning quickly at a very young age. This is called toddler time, which I had gotten the idea from the original online program called abcmouse.com. So this here would be based in the daycare center, but as a separate type classroom type setting or unit. They then make their reports to the toddler time staff director, who in turn makes a report to the Department 1 principal, who then forwards it to the district superintendent, and on you go to the main superintendent. Head Start. This is an adopted level, which, even though preschool had been considered the same in the eyes and opinion of the United Federation of Planets Youth Service Organization's educational department, it is not. Head Start has much shorter courses and basically is like the next step from toddler time just before they enter preschool. So this was adopted to be a carried on tradition since the time Head Start had actually started in humanity's past and currently is ongoing at present. Preschool. Okay, this is considered by the United Federation of Planets, YSO, Youth Service Organizations, Educational Department's opinion as being a step higher than that of Head Start. The courses last a lot longer, and there is 2 years of the preschool levels that can be attended. If the child does not enroll in time into preschool and they say that they are only old enough to attend 1 year, like the latter year to which includes pre-K, this will not be held against them or keep them from entering into kindergarten, not at all by any means. But for those who are able to attend 2 years of preschool, the preschool offers the first preschool level, and then the second level, which is the second year term, is pre-K, which is the preparation courses for kindergarten at that student or child's educational development level. Kindergarten. This is a grade level in its own right and is one step below first grade. It is like the finishing touch of classes so that they will be ready for entering the first grade of elementary school. So these courses are also offered at the student or child's educational developing level. Grades 1 through 6. This is a private school. They only answer directly to the district superintendent, who in turn reports to the main superintendent. Grades 1 through 6 also includes the intro to the Trailblazers Club. And at the point of 6th grade, like that of the United Federation of Planets elementary school, they would have the opportunity for a graduation. United Federation of Planets Youth Service Organization elementary school, grades 1 through 6. Before anyone gets confused, please note that the difference between the private school, elementary school, grades 1 through 6, and the Youth Service Organization, grades 1 through 6, are not that much different. This does also not mean that it is trying to impersonate a public school that cuts out Christianity. Not at all by any means. All this means is that while the private school is a little more private for smaller groups that it may be needed for kids who would have a hard time paying attention instead of being in large classroom settings, the private school would be the best option. On the other hand, for those that are not interested into the Scouting Corps membership, that want to actually be troopers of, say, like a Christian United Federation Army's membership, then this is also the other option. So this is just a different way of getting a student or child enrolled grades 1 through 6, but at a larger setting. At the same time, you'll notice that the emblem doesn't change much, and that's because in the private school, rather than separate grades 7th and 8th, as you would in a junior high academy, which is coming up, they are basically just set in a different classroom. So, in which case then, there would be a second graduation at the same private school for those that completed 7th and 8th grade. Junior high academy is like a form of junior high school. They have their own building for their grade levels, and they also fall in the same format as explained for the grades 1 through 6. Does not cut up Christianity, but they are set up for holding a lot larger classroom setting, whereas a private school is for a smaller classroom setting. So it's not about the teachers not being able to handle that many students. It's about the students being able to handle or get the attention they need for maybe say extra tutoring or what have you, where a teacher in a larger setting might not be able to offer that, because you could have a classroom, for example, at the youth service organizations, elementary or junior high academy, that could number anywhere from 20 to 40 students in a classroom, whereas a private school setting could have anywhere from 10 to 18, maybe just about 20 in a setting. So it gives a student a little more chance to have that teacher's attention if they need some special tutoring or help with any type of classwork, homework, or what have you. Okay, the other one is the grades 9 through 12 Christian Academy. And this is where the student can choose to be into this one, which completes their Scouting Corps membership. And upon graduation, they can either become directors if selected, or again, they can, if they've gotten a scholarship, go off to community college, trade school, four-year college, or university. And again, if they haven't gotten that, then they can go to, as a postgraduate, to the Postgraduate Skills Testing Center, which it will be in the future shared mutually with Starfleet. UF Army's junior, what is that called? JROTC Academy. Basically, it's an academy that's very similar to that of Starfleet Academy. The only difference is that whereas Starfleet Academy is based on space exploration, the UF Army's JROTC Academy is based on ground force division training, skills, and survival. This academy is very similar to that of high school, and again, it does not cut out Christianity. The only reason, again, is based, as I had just explained, for the elementary grades of 1 through 6, and the grades 7th and 8th, or junior high academy. Junior high academy. So it's for holding a lot larger classroom setting, because we never know. You might have 30 or 40 seniors graduating. It could be very big. No one will know until that time comes, should our world last that long to see this ever develop. If nothing else, the Lord will come back and none of this will ever matter anyway. But in the event that the Lord hasn't shown up yet, this is basically what the future plan would be. Another difference between the Christian Academy and the United Federation of Planets Youth Service Organization Educational Department, JROTC Academy, is that while students are required to sleep in dorms on campus at a Christian Academy, they are not required to do so here at the JROTC Academy. I mean, there is a point where they do spend time in the on like a dormitory or barracks type setting, but after their sophomore year, they can either travel home and until such time they're graduated and then go on with their life, or they may get off-campus housing with their parents, that is like a place to rent or what have you, but it doesn't require them to spend all 4 years in a dormitory setting, as would the Christian Academy require such a setting or place for the students to be at. So that's just some options to consider when the future if the future like that should ever arrive. And then finally we have the United Federation of Planets UF Army's North Star Academy. And once again, this is an ROTC program for both those who are fortunate enough to go to college because they got their scholarship, and for those who were not. This would come after the postgraduate has entered the Postgraduate Skills Testing Center, and after having taken the tests and deciding which academy they want to go on to from there, either Starfleet or the UF Army's academy. And we're just going to say, for the sake of argument, if they choose to go to UF Army's academy, this would be that academy, known as North Star Academy. Originally, it was supposed to be known as North Point, but foreseeing into the future, and I'm not saying I'm a prophet or anything, but foreseeing into the future, should West Point actually survive as long as this world may or may not survive, could cause a rift, or how would you say, discrepancy, because I guess West Point considers themselves to be all that in their own right. So it was then decided not to call it or name it North Point, but to call it North Star, kind of like that of the Big Dipper pointing to the Little Dipper. So this is basically where this presentation ends then, because anything after North Star Academy would go right off to what would be the future UF Army boot camp. But again, that is completely separate from this presentation of the Seventh Day of God and Temple of Jesus Christ section presentation. So thank you for being patient, and hopefully you understood everything I explained to you, and we will see you in our next, I believe, closing section presentation.
Summer's almost here now. I'm looking back over all these years. Times have changed from the past, but how did we get here? On a hill in a small town, where so many memories lie. Love, friends, parties, dreams, and now leaving home for the first time. Leave the past in a picture album. We're moving on with the rush of the future. Sometimes saying goodbye hurts, but goodbye high school, I'll miss you. Too bad things like this don't last forever. All that we've been through, all the good times, I'll remember them for the rest of my life. Every moment holds a memory, some of those that you'll always treasure. Tonight is one of those nights that you want to last forever. We're packing up and it's time to leave. I'll miss my friends and my family. I'll be miles and miles away from here. So here's my number, call me if you need me. Make sure you come visit once in a while. I'm gonna miss your smile. And goodbye high school, I'll miss you. Too bad things like this don't last forever. All that we've been through, all the good times, I'll remember them for the rest of my life. we're gonna miss this.